Welcome back to San Diego. We've got the 2006 BMW E60 M5 in the dirtiest and worst condition I have probably ever seen this car. Unfortunately, last week it was involved in a minor rear-end collision. He was sitting in traffic, the roads were wet here in San Diego. People totally freak out when the roads are wet. And somebody hit the rear of the vehicle here. So no airbags, nothing too serious, but it did screw up the bumper cover. Good news is it had been involved in some little parking mishaps, little parking taps before, visible there, down here. So it was time to get this thing refinished anyways. So I have been combing the internet looking for DIYs on how to remove this bumper cover. There's absolutely nothing. Seemingly nobody has ever done this before. So this may be the very first DIY on an E60 M5 bumper removal. This will likely be somewhat different than the standard 525, 28, 30, 35, 45, and 50i. It's a different bumper. The M-Tech found on the 545 and 550 are probably very similar, but this DIY will be specific to the M5. So I'm going to do a little bit of research on TIS and then we'll get started. So we've got Italy out of the way now. We're going to start by unlocking the rear of the vehicle and taking a little bit of the trunk apart. So open the trunk, get whatever you've got in here out. That's going to be inclusive of anything in your trunk. Then your carpeting, which I think on the E60 probably just pulls. No, of course not. It's attached somehow right there. Or at least that part is. The carpet pulls out. We get that out of the way, and then we're going to need to remove these side pieces of carpet. We can see here that it's one piece on the left here and forward, and one piece on the right there and forward. So looking at the fastening hardware in here, they look like these quarter-turn plastic pop rivets, I'm gonna guess. You turn them 90 degrees and then maybe pry them out. Yeah, I can kind of do it with my fingers. So there's one here, there's one over here by the golf bag display. I don't know if there's anything else down there or under there. Nothing under there. And then that might just pull right out. And then over here, we've got one right there and one right here. So there may only be four. I'll get those out and let you know how that goes. So here's a look at these four clips. As you rotate them, you'll see it's got a wide side and a narrow side. So you get in the narrow side and then pull it out with a pry tool. So it is that easy. You take out those two little quarter turn screws and then you can just simply pull out both little cubbies. This one over here, actually both of them, are held in. They kind of have this little clip that goes in there. So mind that, it'll kind of wedge out and then pull up. Good time to replace a brake light bulb or a reverse light bulb as we just did. You can get a look in here and see what looks to be an amp, big heat sink, some random extra wiring here on this 9 of 2005 E60 US spec M5. If anybody knows, let me know. So now we have access to this. I believe we now need to remove these torque screws. I think I read online it's a T30. So there's one here, same place on the other side, maybe over here as well. So I'm thinking there could be four of those, one inside, or two inside, two outside. And then we may need to remove this black, I'm not sure. On the E39 you do, you might not have to on this car, I'll let you know. So it is indeed a T30, there's four of them, they're that long. Take those out and then we're going to come down here to the fender well. I haven't gotten a look in here. Looks like there's, sounds like there's going to be, yeah, three 8mm, can't really see them, but there's three 8mm bolts there. So we're going to pull those out, three on each side. So it turns out there's four 8mm screws on each side. Three of them are of a relatively longer length. One of them is like one thread shorter than the other three. So that shorter screw is the inside screw, closer to the center of the vehicle over here. So long, long, long. The fourth one's up here that I didn't know about. So there's three on the outside, they're long, and then the one short one on the inside. So it turns out there is a fifth 8mm. So we've got our three on the outside and one in the middle. There's a fourth one on the outside, fifth total per side up here. It's a little harder to get to. I used a quarter drive ratchet and a quarter drive 8mm 6-point socket and pulled that out. There's also a plastic larger than what I've seen in other BMWs pop rivet here that I don't know for sure yet. I don't think you have to take it out. I took this one out and it came out. The other one I just destroyed. But then after all of that's done, if you just grab the bumper here and pull, it comes off and seems to be free. So I don't think we had to remove that. But now we're at this point. Now moving underneath, there are 3 more 8mm. They're right here where these 2 plastic plates meet. I've taken 2 out. There's the 3rd one. These have real wide thread. They're easy to tell apart. So now we're looking on top of it, but those 3 screws that I showed you on that black plastic plate, there was a 4th one right in front of my nose I didn't see. So you're gonna pull that out. I also found something else we were missing closer to the fenders. This is the driver's side of the vehicle. There's another one of those big plastic pop rivets down here that connects the bottom of the bumper to this support right here. So you're gonna wanna disconnect that on both sides. So there was no need to remove this black panel here that your power, your auxiliary power thing plugs into. There's no need to remove this latch. All of that can stay. From the inside of the trunk, the only thing you're doing is the 4 T30s, 2 on 2 sides, and then all the hardware and the fender liner. Really, this is a lot easier than the E39. So that is the rear bumper off the car. It looks pretty ghetto. Now we're going to take the harness out, the PDC harness. So the harness, it's real easy. It just unplugs. It's got its own plug right here that plugs in right here under the passenger taillight. So we just disconnected that and set the bumper to the side. Then I'm going to pry these clips outwards, pull the PDC sensors inside. We can just pull the harness cable out of its little clips here, and then we'll have all of that separate so we can have the bumper repainted. So with the bumper off the car, if you're having it repainted, you've got the PDC sensors out already, you want to do that. And then there's 2 pieces of trim that we need to remove from the diffuser area. The first one is that one with the 4/8 mils that came out like that. Probably that was the most time consuming and pain in the ass part of this job. All of these clips have to be depressed, but they can't be depressed too far because there's little stoppers. Mess with it, you're gonna need maybe another set of hands. You're gonna need a little pry tool or a flat blade or something to release that. Once you get it going, it's a little easier. So take all that out, the sensors are out of there, and that is ready to be painted, refinished, otherwise made close to perfect, and then reinstalled. So in an upcoming clip, I plan on giving you guys any little bit of insight that I find putting it back on. If there's any tips or tricks, I'll let you know. And that's it for the disassembly. Welcome back. We're a few days later now. The bumper's back, looks immaculate. Everything came out great as far as we can tell so far. While it was off, we noted that the bumper carrier had been slightly damaged from the impact, as well as the deformation element on this side of the vehicle. So we have replaced the bumper carrier as well as that deformation element. It was a very easy job. There's 4 16mm nuts that hold the bumper carrier on the car, 2 on each side, 2 more over there, and then the deformation element itself is bolted to the chassis with 4 more. You can see 2 of them right there. 4 more 16 mils. Torque specs for all of that is 36 Newton meters, approximately 27 pound-feet. So now that that's done, we're ready to reinstall the bumper. I'm going to very briefly go through the process with you guys here. Should be an exact, should be the removal completely opposite. So firstly, we're going to install the PDC wiring harness. The sensors just line up and press into place. They'll snap when they pop in. Then the wire goes behind those tabs, 2, 3, and 4. Obviously make sure you leave the plug on the correct side of the vehicle, which is the right passenger side, as it's going to plug in right there. Next, we're moving on to installing the rear diffuser, a little plate down there and that bracket, and they should just pop right in the plastic on the bumper. Next piece up is the diffuser. Line it up right. The top is going to clip into the top part. The bottom's held on by those 2 Torx 20 bolts. You could put this on after the fact. I think it's easier before. So there's your screws, your T20s, one of those on each side, and everything else just clips into the plastic. Line it up, press, and you'll hear it snap into place. So now with the PDC sensors in and the diffuser on, we're pretty much going to pick this thing up, turn it around, slide it on the car, and probably connect it primarily by... I gotta decide how I want to do that. Maybe we'll start with these up here. Those 4 Torx 30s that we took out first, we'll put back in first as well. I am shocked at how easy that was. We picked it up, watch out for the exhaust, plug your parking sensors in, put the little cable where it goes, slide it on there. There's a little hand here that sticks out of the top. That's going to go right under your tail light. Then over on this side, you just press those things in. I'm going to allow you to demonstrate, or I guess I can do it right here. You get it kind of lined up, give it some presses, and it snaps right into place. Perfect fit here. Yeah, that'll tighten up when we put the screws in. So now we're going to move on to the Torx 30s, the 4 of them that go in these holes in here. That's it. Really, this job is not too difficult at all. Borderline piece of cake. So 4 Torx inside there. Only ended up needing to remove some of them over here. The little 8 mils in the fender liner. The hardest one to put back in is this one. I would recommend that if you can, you raise the rear of this car off the ground, put it on jack stands, and pull the wheels. It'd just be so much easier to do that if you have the equipment and can safely do so. It wasn't impossible with the car sitting at ride height with the wheels on, but it was definitely more time consuming. So that's it. It looks absolutely fantastic now. It's fairly easy to get it aligned on there and snaps back in with a good fitment. I may need to lower the trunk lid there on that left side because I was messing with the latch and we ended up having that off. So that is it. Thanks for watching. Leave any comments down below and I'll talk to you in a future E39 source video. Bye-bye.